R.I.P. to Craig. We miss him.
Okay.
Good old
Hello,
days.
everybody. RIP to Craig. If you know, you know. Welcome back to the Paddocks. Today we're going to be talking about everything that went down this Grand Prix weekend in Singapore. One of my favorite races. Just putting that out there. On the episode, we have myself, Chelsea. We have Amy and Rachel, and we have so many things we need to cover. We have a development driver leaving the grid. That's sad. We have amazing helmet designs on the track. Not sad. And then we just have the horrendous heat and, of course, the racing that went down. So I would love to just go ahead and jump in with Amy, who has all the updates on the track.
Hi, besties. I'm back yet again, y'all, with our turn-by-turn segment, where I pretty much just go through a laundry list of what the track changes are ahead of the race. Do I know what some of these things mean? No. I don't think anybody does, to be really frank, but it is important that we cover it. There is a long list of resurfacing areas. So from turn 2 until the entry of turn 3, from the entry of turn 6 until the exit of turn 7, from the entry of turn 9 until before turn 11, from the exit of turn 14 until the exit of turn 16, from the exit of turn 16 until the exit of turn 19, and then they did localized patching at turns 5, 6, 13, and 14. They also repaired the edge of the working lane with the fast lane, and the safety car lines and pit entry lines have been highlighted in blue, which they seem to be doing at a lot of tracks now. I do think it makes sense. Sometimes the lines are just a little hard to see, so I think it's important that they highlight things when needed. Now, y'all know we like to cover all of the news that happens heading into a race weekend, and it was announced on Thursday that McLaren F1 team and 19-year-old Irish driver Alex Doon will be, quote, mutually parting ways with the McLaren driver development program. You guys have heard us talk about Alex before. He's done a few FP1s with the Papaya boys. The real question with Alex is he going to end up in like the Red Bull Young Driver program? Is he going to somehow wind up in Cadillac? The rumor mill has definitely been going a little wild about like where is he going to go. It also seemed very abrupt that he was parting ways with them.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like for him, there was no opportunity for him to move up in McLaren because they're locked in with their drivers. So I get it, but it definitely seemed a little out of the blue.
I definitely agree that it seems out of the blue, but I also agree that like there really is no future at this moment for for upcoming drivers with like McLaren. Um that was my dog.
Hi, baby.
I am excited to see where he ends up. I really am because if he finishes fifth, at least I think it's fifth. If he finishes that, gets his super license points, we might see him move on to. I actually want to put Alpine in there, or
Hmm.
Racing Bulls, like you said, in the future. Since we know Oscar and Lando, they're gonna stay with McLaren for a while. I actually see them even getting a longer contract after whatever it is they have now with the way that they both drive, depending on their relationship. To be honest, after this season. But I definitely understand why the decision would be mutual because I'm sure McLaren doesn't want to hold their young drivers back, but they're also like, but we're not going to push you forward right now. I feel like the same thing kind of goes with Pato. Like, we're not going to see him in Formula One anytime soon either.
No, as much as I think all three of us would love to see that happen, it is not in the cards just yet.
Yeah.
Heading into this race weekend, though, the FIA announced that it was going to be, quote, a heat hazard, meaning that drivers had the option to wear cooling vests to combat the extreme temperatures and humidity forecasted for the weekend. In declaring a heat hazard, the F1 rules state that the minimum weight of the car is increased by 5 kilograms to accommodate the hardware used to run the liquid-cooled vests worn by drivers. Right now, it is still an option where drivers can opt out of wearing the vest, but they'll need to run with extra ballasts so that those opting to use the weighted vest are not at a weight disadvantage.
I'm really glad this was put into place after the nightmare that was Qatar in 2023 when like half the grid um got heat exhaustion. I think they were saying in FP1 or something that there was like they almost got a lot of the drivers were near heat exhaustion. No. They were at heat exhaustion. If you've ever had it, you know. So I'm really glad that they are taking like the FIA is taking the driver's safety and well-being into account and like putting this into place, and it's something that cannot be removed once it is in place for the whole weekend. So I think that's the FIA doing something correctly for once. Who would have thought?
What I do find really interesting is that they've been given an opportunity for it to be a choice this year, but it's going to become mandatory next season, which from what I've seen online, it seems like it's a decision that a lot of the drivers are kind of like on the fence on at minimum. I know I saw interviews from Lewis, Charles, Max, and Carlos where they all felt that like it should still be a choice. And personally, I do agree with them. I still think that it should be you either wear it or you're adding extra weight to your car. It shouldn't necessarily be mandatory because some people handle heat differently. Like, it really kind of depends. But I do think it's very interesting that they're going to make it a mandatory thing come next season.
Yeah, I saw the Max interview and he seemed really annoyed about it in his interview. He said at the end of the day the suit for him would end up actually making him hotter because he doesn't even run warm, and I get that, to be honest. Some people just run hotter than others. Personally, I'm always freezing. If our championship winners like Lewis and Max are saying it should be an option, maybe take it into consideration. I think like if anything, it could be a team decision. If like maybe we don't want a driver to be like high and mighty, I don't need it, but the team knows that they need it, like okay, make it a team decision. But I do think forcing it is interesting, especially because of the weight thing. So I don't know.
Well, I saw in the Charles interview, and he was saying that like it's effective for a certain point, but then there comes a point where it runs out of like cold water, and then it's just circulating hot water, which then doesn't actually help you cool down because you're
Yeah.
getting at minimum warm water circulating through this vest that's supposed to cool you down, which then it's not cooling you down. So like, unless they're going to make changes to it to kind of fix that issue, I do think it's a little odd that they're going to make it mandatory if there are still kind of like quirks with it. But that's just me. We'll see if they make any changes to that now that they've gotten some more feedback from drivers after this race weekend. Who knows? We do have to yap about the specialty helmets, the specialty race suits, the specialty merch, because honestly, guys, I feel like there was so much. Liam Lawson gave us a super colorful lid that like feels so very Singapore, but so very Liam. There are little kiwis on it. There's a cartoon version of himself playing golf. It was so cute, and like I love that he always does color. He does not shy away from it, and I just think it's not something that we always see.
I do have to say I loved Liam's helmet. To be honest, I really love the saturated look that he went with the coloring for like the weekend aesthetic that is Singapore. I wish we like the way that his design looked. I wish we got more information on who's designing these helmets. Maybe they do put the information out and I'm just not digging deep enough for it. But I would love to have like a deep dive.
I think he tagged them. I'm literally going to Instagram to now confirm this. I
Fact
thought
checking.
he had
I
tagged.
wish that we would get like a little graphic just at the end of all the helmet
He
photos
did.
and just be like,
He did.
hey,
He did
story.
tag them. Okay, so it's the same. The person who did Liam's helmet also did Charles' helmet.
Oh,
So
okay.
their Instagram name, for anybody who loves looking at helmet designs, it literally looks like all they do is customize helmet designs and painting, specialized in motorsports. They're based in France. It's 100% hand painted. Their username is BS_designs_helmet, but it is tagged in Liam's post. It looks like they're followed by majority of the grid or people associated with F1.
So they probably do a bunch of other helmets.
I feel like there's probably not.
They've done a
ton
lot.
of-
They've even got
yeah.
a post of like all of the helmets they did, a bunch of helmets they did in 2025. There's like a whole big old, I wish they'd tag who they worked with, but
Yeah, like in that case, I want like a story for like the helmet design. Like,
Yeah.
why did you
Yeah.
do this?
they do have an entire story highlight of like all the F1 stuff, GP Explorer 2, all
I feel like helmets are
painting.
such a specialized like thing of like only
Mhm.
like there's probably not that many people that make those helmets, let alone paint them.
Yeah.
You know?
Hand
Who's
paint.
also
like,
worked
it
with
does
Yuki.
make a lot of
Fancy.
sense that it makes sense.
I'm not
Well,
super surprised that like
Hats off to them.
they all kind of work with the same people or person. I think the only driver who really was consistent on who they worked with was Valtteri Bottas, because it was normally Tiff, his lovely partner.
Valid.
Which we do get Valtteri Bottas helmets back next season, and I'm stoked, y'all.
It's gonna be
I hope
so
she's
good.
already drawing up some designs.
Oh, you already... Oh, I would
Yeah.
not be surprised. She's probably already started scheming. I would have if I was her. I would have already been like, all right, what do I get to work with? Because you've got Cadillac, you've got the Americana vibe that I feel like he'll probably lean into at least once.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
I
that
see that for,
photo
like,
of him on
Coda.
the like wakeboard that everyone thought was AI, and he had to post the video that was like, "No, I did this."
I did this.
If you know Valtteri Bottas, it is more likely that he did that than
Than
AI.
it being like a green screen or something. Oh,
That is very
so
true.
good.
If Valtteri does anything, it is commit to the bit.
Big facts. We did get some really interesting race suits from Red Bull Racing. The night race suits, I'm like torn on if I love them or not, but they did also drop team kits that, like a team kit shirt that matched the racing suits, and I do like them. There's an interesting texture to them, but it's like the racing suits themselves are really not that different from like their regular race suits. It's almost just like they took all of the extra colors out of it, and all the logos are just white. Like, it's really not wildly drastically different, but
No,
they still
didn't
gave us something new.
I didn't even realize that they were different. It took me a minute. And I think it's like more of a reflective material instead of like
It's
white.
shiny.
But I really didn't
Also-
notice that they were different at first. It was like it took me a minute. So
Oh, yeah, I was sitting there going, I'm like, is it black base or is it navy base? Like, I literally
navy
can't
base.
tell.
it's navy.
I can't tell.
It's
If
navy.
it was
base.
like, it's probably just that I don't keep my brightness up on my phone that big, like that high. So I can't actually sometimes tell. But it's okay. If we're going to talk about Red Bull Racing, though, I have to talk about Yuki's helmet. Because I feel like Yuki gave us like a really funky, like cartoon designed helmet. It felt very Yuki, but it also felt like really on brand for Singapore. I feel like Yuki hasn't given us a ton of specialty helmets throughout the season, but I did kind of like this one. It was definitely different, but different in a good way. We also got, I think this might be my favorite helmet. At least it's one of my favorites for sure for this race weekend, and that is Albano. Oh, Albano. For starters, the man is auctioning off the specialty helmet, and all of the proceeds are going to go to UNICEF's work in giving children in Thailand a chance to grow up safe, healthy, and supported. The helmet itself is like so sick. There's like the color saturation, everything about it is a literal work of art. It's a Southeast Asian design, and the details in this thing are quite literally everything and more. it's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
I agree. I think this is probably my favorite helmet of the weekend. I love his helmet. Alex always has great helmets. He always has really great special helmets. It's never a miss. I love that he's auctioning it. I always love when they auction them off for charity because like they can only use they're not going to use it again. I think they can only really use their helmets like once, and then they have to like I don't know. And so the specialty helmets I like it when they auction it off. When Lando auctioned his off from Hungary, last year. I think it was last year.
I think so.
That I wish that is like one of the times where I wish I had enough money to buy one of those because I love that helmet so
Girl,
much.
same.
I love that helmet. But I think probably one of my favorite things from Alex's helmet was seeing the behind the scenes content of Lily's idea that they were doing, and he's like laying on the floor surrounded by the mini helmets, and she's like, no, it's gonna work, just trust me. And he's just like super confused, but he's like, all right.
He's like, okay, babe, whatever you say.
That feels pretty on brand for them though.
I love their relationship. It's really wholesome. They're so sweet. I can honestly say that this is probably one of the most beautiful designs I've seen on the grid. I think it specifically just reminded me of like Studio Ghibli, like especially Spirited Away with like the dragon he had on the side. It was beautiful. I absolutely loved it. I love that they are able to be so creative with their helmets because they really can't do anything else. It's kind of like when you were in school and the most you could do was like wear a fun sweater if you had uniform. This is their fun sweater. So I loved it.
I was half tempted to try to get a mini helmet of this one from Alex, but I don't even want to know what I'd be looking at in terms of like duties and fees with all of the tariffs. No thanks. I finally do have a mini helmet, but I bought said mini helmet like months ago. It was Lando Norris's disco ball helmet, and I love it, but I bought that before the tariffs and all like the different duties and fees were getting tacked onto stuff. So sadly, no more mini helmets for this girl because I can't do it. I can't. Speaking of Lando Norris, he brought back the like glitter blob helmet design, which like obviously I love. I love the blobs. I'm a sucker for some glitter. I can't tell if it's almost the exact same design as he had last year for Singapore, and like it's literally the same helmet, or if it's just like slightly different. I can't quite tell, but either way, I love it because it's blobs and it's glitter.
I love that he does that for night races. I think what it is he inverts his helmet design because it's usually the neon with the black blobs, so then it's black glitter with neon blobs. I think that's just like his helmet for night races if he doesn't do a special helmet, if that makes sense. It's like Max
He loves a dark mode.
Yeah. And like Max had his helmet that he did for specific races, but it was like the exact same design. There's just like a minor difference or two. But I like that he does it. It's a great way to switch it up, and it still makes the night races kind of fun, and it's dark mode. It's cool.
We got both a merch line and a matching helmet design from Oliver Bierman. Personally, I really loved both the merch and the helmet. It was like Ursa Major inspired, which like I just love it. He loves his bear logo, and I love all of the different ways that they play with that kind of design and make it work. It's really cute. Again, I was half tempted to buy something from the merch line, but again, the fees talk me out of it, and I want to cry because I would love to own Ollie merch, but alas, it is not in the cards for right now. We also got a specialty helmet from George. I feel like he kind of slipped it past the radar. I had to dig to find it, and I only found it because it was shared on the Mercedes page. It's like blue chrome. I like it. It's simple. The chrome is nice, but it didn't really give me like major chrome with the shade of blue that it was. Maybe that was just me, but it was okay. It was nothing wow.
I want to say George did blue chrome. I want to say he did it for Singapore last year. I cannot remember, but I think he's done it before. And I think it's like a similar like Lando situation where like that's just
Yeah.
what he does when he doesn't have a specific special helmet, which is probably why it wasn't shared widely.
Well, I also feel like it's happened before where George doesn't share his helmets. Like, I have to look for them on the Mercedes page. I don't know why.
Well, and
George,
it's funny because he's tagged in the post, so it's like a collaborated post on the Mercedes page, but it doesn't show up on his feed. So I don't know why it's appearing that way, but that's a different story. I don't know. There's something about George and his specialty helmets that are very hit or miss for me. Because sometimes they're just like boring. Sorry,
feel like-
George, but like it's the truth.
I feel like he doesn't do them a lot either.
No.
But in other blue special helmets, Charles gave us a dark blue glitter with his red and white accents for like the Monegasque flag. It's stunning. I'm obsessed. I love glitter. I mean, how can you not? I think it's like that darker blue that they use that Ferrari uses, which I really like. He did. I don't think he posted it on Grid on his Instagram, but he did post it on his story, and that's where I saw it.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like it was. It seems like it was a similar thing where he was just like, "Yeah, I did a helmet. Here you go," and that was
Yeah.
it.
I liked the helmet design now that I realized that it was the same guy who did Liam's helmet. Like he's got the designer has some really cool pictures online, and like it kind of gives night sky with the way the glitter is placed. I really like it. It'll surprise absolutely no one that I'm a sucker for glitter, but I really did like the helmet, even though it's still like simple-ish. We also got a helmet from Charles' teammate. Sir Lewis Hamilton dropped a helmet. He posted like hardly anything about it, which if you know what went on, you know that he hasn't been totally active on social as he normally can be, but he gave us a really sick gold chrome. It's like a golden yellowy kind of shade. I really liked it. It wasn't anything super wildly departed from his normal helmet, but the chrome just like worked.
No, it was so nice, and it had sparkles. You could see them in FP2 when the light was hitting the helmet, it would sparkle. And it actually kind of reminded me, Sebastian Vettel had like the really sparkly helmet in Singapore. It was like the sparkly blue Red Bull one. Same vibes. Gold chrome, but same vibes. I thought it was so nice. It's very Lewis as well to me.
Mercedes still kind of matching, even though they're broken up. And he also kind of was matching Charles because he had the glitter. I like it. It's fun. Yeah.
It should surprise no one that all of us love chrome and glitter in the helmet. It's just like what is not to love?
Shiny.
It's shiny. Oh my god,
It's
stop.
shiny.
Now I think you have the Moana little crab.
Literally, like if you were going to do a specialty helmet for a night race and you don't make it chrome or have some glitter in it, you're doing it wrong. That's just my personal stance. I'm sorry. If you don't like it, well. I do have to talk about Williams because it's another situation where I'm crying internally that I cannot get this merch because the fees are way too expensive. And that is the fact that Williams F1 team gave us merch with Sparkles the Unicorn on it for Carlos Sainz. And I am completely obsessed because they gave you men's, women's, and children.
Do you think the little girl's getting money?
The kid, I would hope so, because her name's on the sticker and stuff. So I would assume they probably worked something out with her family. I don't know. I wish they had made the kids' design also available in adult sizes because I kind of like the kids' design better. It's so freaking cute.
That's valid.
He also kept the sticker on his helmet yet again. It should surprise nobody. Also, his girlfriend, Rebecca, had either a knit or a crocheted version of the unicorn as a bag charm, and I'm also obsessed. I fear I need it. It's so cute. I'm not a bag charm girl, but like, who doesn't want a unicorn on their purse? I'm sorry.
Pretty sure it looked more crochet to me than knit. But I want to know did someone make that for her and give it to her, or did she make it? Like, does she crochet?
Oh my god.
Oh,
Could you
I feel like that
imagine?
would be so cute. I'm sure someone, like a fan, probably made it and gave it to her,
Probably.
but still, it would be really fun if like she's just like, I'm gonna crochet it. Like, I don't know.
I
That'd be
hope
fun.
someone did and they videotaped it if they did.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
I feel like now with merch, we need someone in a different country that we can ship it to, and then they can just send it to us.
Yes. Help me
Like,
help
If
you.
anybody wants to be our go-between, slide in the DMs. Please and thank you. We love you.
please.
Please. Please.
Going into what we're all looking forward to, which is the racing, the free practice. I don't know if everybody looks forward to free practice. I do. It gives me something to do on Fridays when I'm at work and I'm like one of 12 people in the office. Unfortunately, FP1, there wasn't really anything to write home about. It was pretty standard, other than a couple of things that happened. But I mean, there wasn't like no one crashed, unfortunately.
Fortunately,
God.
all we saw was a little brake fire in Albon. So he was out, I think, after like 2 laps. I don't even think he made it to a third one. We also saw a few drivers had issues on turn 14, and including Hamilton. And the only reason I thought that was interesting was because that was the one of the updated ones that Amy mentioned. And I feel like this happens every race where one of those updated parts just constantly messes up our drivers. I don't know why. But I did love seeing Fernando in the top 3.
Oh my god, are you kidding? I had to do a double take. I thought I was hallucinating for a second.
That's valid.
Because at the end of FP1, your top 3 was Fernando, Charles, and Max. Like, I literally thought I was seeing things.
I really wish Charles could have stayed up there longer. It's rough out here as a Ferrari fan. Our bottom 5 for free practice 1 was Ollie, Gabby, Lance. That's not shocking. Franco and Alex. I don't even think Alex got a time on the board. If I remember correctly, he got out, did 2 laps. He did his out lap, started one, and then he had to go in for the brake fire. I don't think he got a time on the board, period.
I don't think so.
Free practice 2 was a little more eventful. George crashed into the wall and had to get a new front wing. And then while they were replacing it, it seemed like his engineers found something else, and he actually, I think, was out for the rest of the session. That sucks. I'm kind of curious as to what they found, but I probably would go over my head. And then Liam also crashed into the wall, and he ended up bringing out a red flag for some of the session. And it wasn't where he crashed, didn't really warrant a red flag, but he had to kind of pull over. From what I understood from the commentators, the FIA would have been mad at him if he tried to make it back to the pit lane. So he just stopped, and then he walked back to the pit lane, and they red flagged the session. So
honestly, it was the clip of his tire rolling past his car that sent me absolutely wheezing. There are TikToks of it with y'all would probably know exactly what audio I'm talking about, where it's I don't know. It's just, it's gold. The TikToks are gold. Absolute gold. I couldn't stop laughing. It was too funny.
It reminds me of when we had Yuki's tire bouncing down the hill, and I believe it was Baku a couple of years ago.
We've had it happen a few times where just you see a tire rolling away, or a tire bounces, but I don't really know how he would have planned to get his car back to the pits when you're missing a tire.
Yeah.
I mean, you technically can if it's just one. You're still balanced enough that your rim isn't going to be on the ground. It's not necessarily if you lose a tire or pop tire on a regular vehicle and you're just riding on a rim. But still, I would have scratched my head and gone, how the hell do you plan to get back to the pits? You're missing a tire.
Yeah, it also reminded me of Yuki. We actually have that on our website, his video running down the street. So yeah. But what I thought was interesting was turn 16 and 17 seemed pretty difficult for like a few drivers because there were multiple that did or almost did like graze the wall coming out of turn 16. And that kind of happened, I think, continuously throughout the weekend. So I feel like these updates are not really doing what they're supposed to do sometimes.
Not always.
No, I feel like it's like when they resurfaced Coda last year. I think it was last year. And then like I think they had WEC and I think like one other race weekend. And then they had Formula One, and so that track there was no wear on it. There was no like it was still basically brand new. It everybody grazing the wall out of turn 16 reminds me of the Wall of Champions in I can't remember where it's at, but it sure reminds me of the Wall of Champion Canada. Where everybody hits that wall for some reason.
Yeah, it's the Welcome to Canada sign. Literally, I think really it says like it literally, I'm pretty sure it says Welcome to Canada in French. And it's, everybody who has managed to put it in the wall. I don't know why.
Our top 3 for FP2 were Oscar, Isaac, and Max. Go Isaac. We love to see our rookie doing so well.
When he does that, it just brings me so much joy. Your bottom 5 at the end of the session was Pierre, Liam, Kimmy, Franco, and George. Post FP2, there was a little bit of news about the incident with Charles crashing into Lando in the pit lane, resulting in a €10,000 fine for the unsafe release, which nobody wants to see. I'm assuming that comes out of Charles' pocket, not the team's, but I could be wrong.
I think it's Charles.
I think it's his money too, which kind of sucks when it's an unsafe release and it's your team's fault.
Yeah.
I agree, it's stupid.
It is what it is. In FP3, we had yet another red flag in the session for, Liam Lawson, putting it in the wall again.
Sucks.
Helmet Marco has entered the chat, y'all.
God.
Good luck, Liam.
I don't know. I think Liam he pushed way too hard trying to make up for the lost time yesterday. Should have just kind of taken this FP as like a practice, instead of pushing, and save that for quali. But also I would love to take a quick mention that Max did the GT3 event and came back, I think, driving better. The Red Bull's recent upgrades, it looked like they're working for both drivers because I saw Yuki. To me, Yuki seems to be doing better since the upgrades came out. And I feel like we were really watching Max try and win Singapore. Like for the first time in his F1 career, I don't think he's won Singapore yet. And I was excited to see what was going to happen because to be a championship winner multiple times and still not have this one race under your belt.
It's the only one on the calendar he has not won.
I'd be so annoyed.
I would be so annoyed because I know he likes the track too, which makes it even worse because it's a track that you like and you still can't pull it off.
Track does not like him.
The track does he likes the track. The track does not like him back. Sadly. But at the end of FP3, your top 3 was Max, Oscar, and George.
Your bottom 5 for FP3 were Franco, Lance, Yuki, Pierre, and Liam. Couple of those weren't surprising.
I mean, it's kind of your usual suspects. Save Yuki.
Save Yuki,
but everybody else, it's more or less your usual suspects. Pierre can sometimes be a little bit higher. It kind of.
I almost expect more of Pierre, and I'm kind of surprised we don't get it. But I think it's the car.
I was gonna say, I feel like, because Franco and Pierre, I feel like would do so much better. It's just the car sucks.
Yeah.
Alpine, get it together, guys.
I take it back. Don't take Alex Stone.
Oh, guys, please get the car together. Thank you. We need it. They need it. At this point, it's not even that, as fans, we need them to have a better car. They need to have a better car for themselves. We do have to talk about quali, and I have to kick off my Q1 coverage with a gem from the F1 TV team that had me just wheezing, and that was, what did Behrman have for lunch today? Because seeing him pop up to P2 was just like such a nice surprise. Yes, there was still 8 minutes left in the session, but still, it was really nice to see.
A win is a win, bestie. And I think it shows us that Ollie does have the talent and the potential. Because I know there's been some people saying that, like, he's not as good as people thought he was going to be. I mean, the usual, like, criticisms of the rookies that are ridiculous. But I think it shows us that Ollie has what it takes. Obviously, because he made it into F1 first of all, but I like getting to see that, especially because he's in a Haas, and it's hard to show your talent and your potential when you're in a Haas.
Literally. The funnier thing was his teammate was complaining about his belt needing to be adjusted, which kind of in some ways I guess makes sense because it is a bumpier track, and I feel like if things aren't sitting in a comfortable position, like, that's just gonna bug you so much.
It would be hard to concentrate, I think.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And it's a safety issue. Like that, they're going pretty fast, and that's not great. David Coulthard's story that he told about how his belt came undone, quote, way back in the dark ages, end quote. Those were his exact words. During Spa in 1995 was a crazy story. His belt came undone. Like it was like the whole thing came undone, and he was able to put the shoulder straps back in, but not the crotch strap. And so he was the lap belt. He was driving the whole rest of the race like that because he didn't want to take time to go back in and get it adjusted.
I can't imagine.
The things they could get away with back then.
But also, why we gotta call 95 the Dark Ages?
I know. It was when my sister was born. Like,
I was 2. Like,
you're the Dark Ages, girl.
You're the Dark Ages.
You see. I think my favorite thing all session, though, was Isaac putting it P1. Yeah, I know. There were 6 minutes left in the session, but that is our frickin' rookie, y'all.
Again, a win is a win, bestie. Like, I will take it. I really would love for Isaac to be Rookie of the Year. I know a lot of people are like, well, what about Kimmy? Kimmy got a podium too. I just feel like Isaac is doing better. And I feel like he's showing more improvement, I guess. I do feel like it's going to be a rough contention for Rookie of the Year this year, though. They've got a lot of, good options. Ollie's doing well. Gabby's doing well, considering he's in a Sauber. Isaac's doing well. Kimmy's doing well. Like, they're all doing pretty well, all things considered.
I think it's going to end up definitely being between him and Kimmy, because right now that's just what the fan base is really pushing into. And Kimmy, is doing well. Amongst other things, he is doing well. So is Isaac. I think Isaac has more of a challenge than Kimmy when it comes to the car he's racing, which is something to be taken into account. But beyond that, honestly, I think it's going to be between them two. Nothing against, like, Gabriel or Ollie. They are where they are right now in the standings, and the other two are just showing up a little bit more when it comes to, like, the representation for their teams and etc. Blah blah.
And Kimmy and Isaac both got podiums. I feel like that's going to be a big factor.
Yeah,
absolutely. Towards the tail end of Q1, we had Pierre more or less like lose the car and just park it up, and bringing out a single yellow at the end of the session. At least it was the end of the session, I guess. That's all I really got.
I feel like that was so rough for him. Alpine is not having a great season. I'm going to personally blame it on Flavio Briatore because I can. It's like how I blame everything on Ronald Reagan. It
all goes back to him.
It's giving the same vibe, guys. It's giving the same vibe. It really seems like since Flavio came in, Alpine has gone downhill.
I agree.
I feel like they could be doing so much better. I feel
I
bad
feel
for
like we
them. I feel bad
predicted
for
that as a
yeah,
podcast, though.
we did. So the
Yeah,
negative
I think
energy.
anybody who knows anything about Flavio kind of saw that coming.
He's just not the kind of like person I think of when it comes to building morale. And I feel like for
God,
so many
no.
drivers, that's where it starts. Like their good
Yeah.
driving is good morale on their teams. Um, but you know, there is something I was like preemptively really excited to see, which was Yuki with 10 position in Q1 ending. Look, the Red Bull upgrades are finally working for both drivers. Like that's what it's starting to look like. And I feel like that's what we really needed because for so long it's been Max. And, you know, Yuki matters. He matters.
I saw something where Laurent was saying that they're finally like they're not just relying on sim data anymore. They're actually listening to their drivers. What a concept.
Such a novel
What a
concept.
What an idea. Like
I'm proud of them.
took them long enough.
Finally did a Google
we all know
survey
that
or
Christian
something.
Horner would never consider that.
Oh.
No. But yeah, that it is nice to see that they're listening to their drivers and it seems like it's actually doing something.
End of the session, we lost Gabby, Lance, Franco, Esteban, and Pierre. Now, when we moved into Q2, we did have a delayed start for the session to recover Pierre's car, and so that race control could check the yellow flag laps. There was a few drivers who were under investigation after the session for a yellow flag infringement, and that was George, Yuki, Nico, and Gabby. We did also see Kimi Antonelli get hit during Q2 with a lap deletion with 8.5 minutes left in the session, which is just like not something you want to see and or deal with.
That was devastating to watch. I always feel so bad when their lap times get deleted. I know it has a purpose and I know they like aren't within their lines, but like I just feel it makes me feel so bad, especially when it's a really good lap time. I'm like I feel so bad for them.
I feel like Q2 was a little dicey for some drivers because we also had Charles tapping the wall during the session. I don't know what was going on.
Okay, I could be wrong, but the commentator, I don't know who was talking. They mentioned it too. He was like driving off during Q2. Like he was very tentative. Like the way he was braking and the way he was driving, I could see it. I think that's why he ended up kind of touching the wall or tapping the wall during the session. Maybe he was just like getting ready for Q3. I don't know, but he was driving weird.
During the session, we did at least get some resolution on the who potentially was facing a yellow flag infringement. George was found to have done nothing wrong, and there was no further investigation into him or action for him with 2 minutes left in the session. I feel like it took a little bit for us to get news on the rest of the drivers, but none of them were at least given any penalties, which is a good thing.
I was sad to see Nico gone though, because I don't think he's made it to Q3 this year. I don't think so.
I want to say maybe he has once, but I could be wrong.
I
don't know if he raced after making it to, like, do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he's like qualified top 10 this year. Let me see. We're gonna Google this.
I think Gabby, well, I know for sure Gabby has definitely outperformed him in quality, which is so surprising because last year Nico was outperforming his teammate like consistently in quality. So it's interesting to see that pendulum swing back a little bit. But it is what it is.
I don't know. I can't find anything online, but I remember when I was like listening to the commentators, someone mentioned that like he's been having trouble getting out of Q3 this year. And I wasn't sure if like they meant it like in general, but I have noticed that he's been having issues. And you're right, Gabriel has been outperforming him, which is really interesting. And I'm wondering if maybe just for some reason he's more comfortable with the car than Nico is. It's possible.
Maybe. Yeah. Definitely possible, I think. Out in Q2 were Nico, Alex, Carlos, Liam, and Yuki. Very sad.
Now in Q3, I think for me, like the most impressive / iconic thing was seeing George Russell tap the wall and still put it on provisional pole. Like, that's just iconic behavior. I can't even lie. At the end of Q3, your top 10 was George, Max, Oscar, Kimmy, Lando, Lewis, Charles, Isaac, Ollie, and Fernando.
Now, this is what got me at the end of Q3, because Q3 was, other than George tapping the wall and still getting pole, I agree, iconic behavior. I'm going to share with you this quote. For the team that famously goes well when Toto Wolff needs a jacket, maybe it includes one of those ice-pumped jackets. From, I believe it was Joylyn Palmer. I was dying. Granted, this was like 7 o'clock in the morning, LA time. So was I tired? Yeah, probably. But I was literally dying at that. I was like, he's not wrong. I don't like the way they did the post-quali interview with all three of them at once. I don't think DC was saying it was just like to get them out of there sooner. I don't think it did that. Because then George and Max were still standing there the whole time instead of like going and getting ready for the photo and like George signing the bottle. Like, I don't think it really did anything to make anything go faster and get them out of the heat, which is what it was supposed to do. I'm truly wondering if he just said that, and I'm wondering if they're like testing this out to see how people react to it. I don't know. I don't think that FIA really cares what we think sometimes, most of the time, all the time. But I do remember thinking a Max and George front row is chaos in my head. And I'm okay with that.
I agree. I thought the post interview was weird. I prefer the older format. I think we got better answers from them and they didn't seem as awkward. But what I did love was that Bierman made it to the top 10. He only started it one other time in Japan in the top 10. During Q2, someone announced that he's like statistically the worst qualifier of the year, and I wanted to fight. I was like, I hated to hear that. I'm like, is that true? It must be true if they're saying it on the F1 TV thing, but like, anyways, I'm just happy he made a top 10. I think he's really deserving of it, especially because we were just talking about the rookies. Like, he is a good driver. It's just a car.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that was if he was the worst qualifier out of the rookies.
I was thinking of Lance. Sorry, I was thinking of Lance, and I'm like, is he the worst? But
I can't remember, but I think it would make sense if it was out of the rookies, which, like, again, he's in a Haas, guys. Cut him some slack. Come on. Sad news post-quali. Alex and Carlos were both disqualified from qualifying due to both cars failing the DRS slot gap checks done by the FIA. Williams put out a statement. They said that when they did their checks, it was fine, but then the FIA did theirs, and it was clearly not because they got disqualified. And obviously only one measurement matters, and that would be the one of the FIA, so it is what it is. It ended up, I think, Alex started in the pit lane and Carlos was at the back of the grid.
Obviously, we have to get into race day details. We started the race with a track that was damp because it rained about an hour before the race started. There also was 72% humidity, which just sounds disgusting. Granted, we get much higher humidity here on the East Coast in the summer times, so like 72 isn't bad, but like I still don't want to be in that. No, thank you. We only had 6 drivers who started the race on soft tires. That included Max compared to everybody else who was on mediums. Like Rachel pointed out, Alex Albon started from the pit lane. We also had Pierre Gasly who started from the pit lane. Now, at the start of the race, there was some, dare I say, potential contact with the Papaya boys at the very start of the race, and I was not awake enough for any of that.
I also was pretty sure I saw contact between Max and Lando. I think it was like Lando hit like both of them. I don't remember. The race was at 5 a.m. for me. I woke up 3 minutes before it started. I literally woke up 3 minutes before lights out, turned on my TV, and, like, I slept on my y'all, I slept on my couch for this. I literally was like, I'm not if I sleep
Nice.
in my bed, I'm not going to wake up for this race. Um, yeah.
That's
That was
dedication.
The
it was a
things we do
wild
for the
start.
sport we love.
I did it for Baku too, because that was
Well,
at 4 a.m.
No,
I mean,
ma'am.
you guys are both right. He did like tap Max. Max just kept going.
It was Oscar's radio message for me that said, yeah, man, that wasn't very team-like, that just had me going, oh no. Oh no. It was way too early in the race for that much sass, because he followed it up with, so are we cool with Lando just barging me out of the way, or question mark, what's the go there? Well, god damn, man. So much sass. So much.
Our Aries King absolutely popping off the sass. We love it. We love it. I'm pretty sure the full moon tomorrow is in Aries, isn't it?
I think so.
I think it is. Pop off King. I love that as an Aries. I love it when all of the drivers are sassy, and I do think they get sassier when it's hot because
Yes.
they get
Get
cranky.
cookie.
I do need everyone to be aware, and I don't. Those of you who have the McLaren app probably are already aware that you can like see their radios during the race. I think it's all weekend. You can see their radios for every session. None of Oscar's sassy radios were in that log. None of them. And that is how
I think Oscar's starting to become like done with the situation. Like sometimes, I think at that point he was waiting for McLaren to like give the go ahead, reverse the positions, and it's just kind of like they're getting to a point where I don't know if the relationship is healthy anymore, like between Oscar and Lando. Because like people try to say like they're friends off the track. I've never seen them off the track together. Not once. That they do not be hanging out. And it's like how much pressure are they feeling from McLaren, who refuses to say like you're the second driver, you're the first driver, and then like doesn't really listen to Oscar during the races. Like it's kind of like obvious.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, I feel like they are coworkers. They're not
Mm-hmm.
friends. And that's okay. It for me was the fact that like the F1 TV team pointed out that the first car that potentially hit the wall had like some end plate damage. It was Lando's car, it's Oscar's. Like it was just the team game that was going on this race was just so wild. Yes, the FII deemed that there was no further action on the incident, but like the replay for me at least showed that Oscar had a right to be irritated.
Yeah, and I mean the team tried saying that Lando was just trying to avoid Max. So I can see why his frustration is growing. Mine would.
Mm-hmm.
I think the big problem really is that they do have a first and second driver. Zach Brown's first driver is Lando and his second is Oscar, and Andrea Stella's first driver is Oscar and his second is Lando.
Mm-hmm.
They are not on the same page. And
Mm-hmm.
that I think that's the problem. I wasn't surprised that there was no further action, that there was no it didn't really surprise me. Usually stuff like that is deemed a racing incident by the FIA if it's in the first lap. Cause like it's the first lap. What are you gonna do? I mean, we've seen bigger crashes be deemed racing incidents. I think we've seen crashes where someone's DNF'd be deemed a racing incident because it's the first lap. So that was not surprising to me. Oscar was pissed though. And again, that boy is an Aries. I am an Aries. We were both April Aries. That crash out is gonna be fun. And none of his sassy radio that radio that he said, not in there. Not in the book. You cannot find that record at all.
It was David Coulthard saying, you know what? He puts forward a compelling argument. Of course, they are not going to post Oscars or radio messages on the McLaren app it kind of makes sense to me. He was definitely not a happy camper.
I started dying laughing because he was pissed, obviously. And he's like, if he has Oscar's, like, if Lando has to avoid another car by crashing into his teammate, then that's a pretty shit job of avoiding. Yikes. Radio heard, baby. We all heard that. Don't worry. I truly think these last few races, like, I think there's 3 left, right? Okay. I think these are gonna be the ones that we're going to see, like, how they handle this kind of pressure, like, head on, because especially with Max, to me, kind of entering the mix more now, I think these next few races are gonna be kind of a turning point for maybe the McLaren relationship that's going between their drivers.
I am right there with Chelsea. We had a moment that kind of just had me shaking my head because Esty was having some issues with his brakes, and I feel like the poor guy just has no luck.
No, he cannot catch a break. Between the strap and then the brakes, I feel like he just can't catch a break this weekend. But he did absolutely eat with his posts for the campaigns that he has been doing on his Instagram. 10 out of 10, Esty Bestie. You're doing fantastic. Another lovely quote regarding George from Alex Jakes was, had to copy his 19-year-old teammate's homework. I don't even really remember what that was for or in reference to. I just know it was George and Kimmy, and I thought it was hilarious enough to write down at 5:30 in the morning. This is why I prefer F1 TV. The commentators are they're so funny.
They're unhinged.
They're very unhinged. I would love the unhinged king, Nico Rosberg, to come into F1 TV instead of Sky Sports. That would be amazing.
Would be chaos.
That'd be funny.
Absolute chaos. It would be so funny. I also, Gabby's front wing, we just like see randomly, he's going in for a pit stop and the guy's holding the front wing and I'm like, wait, what happened to Gabby's front wing? I feel like the F1 TV directors are not, the shots we aren't getting context.
No.
And they might replay it, they might not. I don't think they replayed what happened with Gabby's front wing. I think they just showed a slow-mo. He did? Okay. I saw a slow-mo of it, of his front wing, just like with the broken. I didn't see him hit the wall, but
he hit a wall and his wheel bounced at the pit stop. Like, it almost rolled away.
Yeah.
So it would have been back-to-back chaos. But they saved it. Just kind of bounced.
It was so funny. I mean, you see this guy holding the front wing and I'm like, wait, what happened?
We did have Lando Norris who tapped the wall. Again, we have another gem from the F1 TV team. Thank you, David Coulthard. It was a tickle, according to DC, which we love this man. We all know we love him.
I love DC. He's so funny and he's great. I have another note in there that I'm gonna take that out. I had to go take my ADHD meds, y'all. It was too early for me.
You're good,
baby. That's hilarious.
But I do, regarding, and we talked about this earlier, Max not being able to win this race. Who cursed him? Who cursed? Only for this race. Only for this race. Because he's won all of the other tracks, but I feel like someone put a curse on him that he will never win in Singapore. And I feel bad. It would bother me so much if I were him. Yeah. I will also say, I'm still mad that they took away the fastest lap point. Going back to curses, can we put a curse on Stefano Domenicali? Because these changes that he is making, I'm like, what? And all of the fans are coming out and they're like, why are you doing this? We don't want this. We don't want more sprint races. We don't want all of these weird changes that you're making. You're saying it's for the fans, but the fans are saying no.
Honestly, I agree with you. I think the issue is they're focusing so much on like what they think will become entertaining for fans, like what's entertainment, instead of like
they want to
racing,
make more money,
which is what we want.
Yeah.
And it's like, give us back some of the more traditional things. We want it. We want the real racing.
I want them
I
to
don't know.
change. I want them to change it back to the sprint format that it was before, where the sprint race determined the grid for Sunday. That was chaos. That was
Oh,
entertaining. I
you see,
loved
I got
that.
into it after that.
I
That would have been
loved that.
fun.
That was so fun because it would be free practice 1, sprint qualifying, and then they would do the sprint on Saturday, and that would be the only event, and that would determine the grid. There were more stakes, and it was so
That
much
would
more
be more
entertaining.
fun.
Now they don't do that. They still have qualifying session, and they don't take as many risks, and they don't. Which, like, okay, fair. Like, they're not taking as many risks and ruining their car before race day. Like, whatever. But like, it was so entertaining.
I think there's someone already working on the curves though. Probably there has to be an
Fingers
Etsy witch
crossed.
out there that's getting paid right now.
I really hope so. Can we also need to put one on MBS so he loses the FIA presidency? I believe there are now 2 women running against him, and I need one of them to win. Just not him.
I only know
Just
about
not
one,
him.
but
Anybody
I would
but
love any
him.
of one.
Anybody but him.
Also, at
Gotta
this
get-
point in the race, George is like 9-ish seconds ahead of everyone. The kid was zooming, like just flying.
I love that for him. I love that because like it's like Max, someone at Baku, one of the Fun TV commentators or someone told Max, he was like, you know, the only time you were shown, I think it might have been Laura Winter. Anyway, the only time
Okay.
they were like, the only time you were shown was the race start, your pit stop, and the finish. And Max was like, that's what I want. Max was like, that's good. And I feel like that's similar
all
to
I
it's
need.
like, that's all
I'm
I need.
obsessed.
I don't like, I think that was really funny because that means that George drove a good race and there was no major incidents. I think he did have some trouble when he was lapping some people though.
Probably.
But I feel like that's a pretty common issue that happens. It seemed like the McLaren pit crew got it together for Lando with a 2.1 stop. That was great. His last race was like a 5 point something. That was not it. My next note is just all caps, no Isaac with a frowny face. I don't remember what happened.
It was his radio message from his engineer that said, "I'm sorry, it's back." Like, guys, whatever the reliability issue was, whatever it is, please fix it. Because what the actual heck? Hearing "it's back" on a radio message is not what you want to hear. But Rachel mentioned that Lando had a 5-ish second pit stop. Well, it looks like McLaren decided that it was time for Oscar to get a trash pit stop, and he got a 5.2 second pit stop. McLaren, what in God's name is going on? Please make it make sense.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to tell you what happened because they are so dumb. Okay? I am blaming it on them being more focused on playing the funny game with Red Bull, on trying to trick Red Bull into getting Max to pit stop early. They sent out their team like 2 times trying to like play Max. They shouldn't have been doing that. They should have been focused on the actual pit stop that they have to do and do a good job instead of trying to fake out the other team. Don't focus on Red Bull. Focus on your own team. That's how you lose.
The pit stop that had my jaw on the floor and literally had me shaking my head was Aston Martin and Fernando Alonso, because Jesus Christ, it just got worse. Like 9.2 seconds. I'm going to say that one more time. 9.2 seconds. I just know that man was so pissed.
That one was insane. I will say, as far as McLaren goes, it does seem like they only have one good pit stop in them per pit. Like, because it was always Lando would pit second and his stops were long, but Oscar would pit first and his stops were short. So I guess who knows. I agree with you, Charles. The game of basically chicken with Red Bull.
Dumb.
Why?
Why?
Like, just, I feel like it just feels like if you have to rely on stuff like that, like, That's not a great strategy, guys.
Got bigger issues.
But in on-track events, Ollie did a fantastic overtake on Albon. If it wasn't so early in the month, I mean, I'm going to say it right now, overtake of the month. We'll see where the rest of the month takes us, but that one was so good.
He did so well this weekend. I loved it. Loved watching it. I feel like he needs a win once in a while with the car he's in.
That facts. Amy, you saying that Fernando was pissed about his 9.2 stop. It was pretty obvious in his lovely radio of, if you speak to me every lap, I will disconnect the radio. Yeah, that's a mood. It reminds me of when Max is shouting at GP not to talk to him when he was braking. That was iconic and also just hilarious and very understandable.
Yeah.
Wheezed because the F1 TV team had before that said that, like, oh, I bet his engineer's going to want to unplug the radio because Fernando's going to start yelling. And then it was reverse. He literally said, Uno reverse, please.
I mean, I would also be mad at losing the opportunity to get points. So.
Again, I feel like F1 TV crew gave us so many gems because we got a replay of how close one of the drivers was going to get to the wall. And it was them just saying, wait for it. Like, sometimes they're just literally, like, big kids. It's so funny. I love it every single time. It just makes me laugh. We did have Isaac Hajar making me so proud and doing everything in his power to fight off Fernando Alonso.
Another gem from David Coulthard. Quote, he may be approaching pension age, end quote. About Fernando, I literally, like, my jaw was on the floor. I was like, oh my, David!
Is he wrong?
No.
No, he's not.
Well, yeah.
That's
I think my favorite thing is the fact that so much of the F1 TV team comes for Fernando Alonso because a few of them have raced against him. So they have, like, all of the backstory and all of the blackmail of, like, no, we know all your little secrets, all your things. We know how old you are. Like, it's a fair joke. I just was not prepared.
It was really funny. I did just look up their ages. David Coulthard is 10 years older than Fernando. Hilarious. Oscar's gonna be on a doom spiral. He's gonna crash out, which is gonna be super fun for us because he's, again, an Aries. You could hear it in the tone of his voice. He's over it. He was like, get me out of, like, I want to finish this race, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything else.
He sounded so dejected, and it hurt my heart. I would do everything to be a fly on the wall in that post-race debrief, because literally at this point you can't say those two are friends. It is coworker energy only, and it is the coworker that, like, you get along with because you have no other choice.
He had rear lock Danny stall from Hulk into the wall. There was nothing major. His car didn't have a ton of damage from what I could tell. It brought out the yellow flag very briefly. He was in the wall and then out of it and back on the track in 0 seconds flat. So it was like, there, gone, no safety car, no VSC, nothing. So that was
clean.
Very clean. Good on him.
I feel like the video footage that we got of this race was a little weird because, like, when the heck did Carlos overtake Isaac? Like, I loved seeing back of the grid to the points, but like, I don't even think we got shown the overtake. I was so confused.
I don't think we got shown the overtake either, but I do know that Carlos waited until, like, the very last minute to go into the pit. It was like lap 52 or 3, and he was sending a Hail Mary. They were waiting for a safety car that never came. And right after he got fresh tires is basically, I think, like 2 or 3 laps later is when he passed Isaac. So he had fresh tires.
Again, with the lack of video footage of things, we had a radio message from Lewis Hamilton saying, "I've lost my brakes," as they're like panning to footage of the grandstands. And I'm like, no, show me what's going on track, please.
Literally.
Please.
Not the people.
Not the people. I don't care about the grandstands right now. If cars are on track, show me the cars on track.
McLaren have officially won the Constructors' Championship. It will be all congratulations to them. Very nice. Red Bull dominance is over. Doesn't mean Max dominance is over. Just means that Red Bull isn't.
That's valid.
It is all the drivers' championship from here on out, and I feel like it's, their coworkers that you have to tolerate, and now it's like they're getting the opportunity to fight it out. We'll see how that goes.
The gloves are definitely coming off.
It's so exciting.
Your top three at the end of the race was George in P1, Max in P2, Lando in P3. I do have to say that is one way for George to make up for 2 years ago at Singapore. So, I do love a little bit of a redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
The fastest lap went to Lewis Hamilton, which is super great. We love that. Love that for Ferrari. Can Ferrari just get it together to do that for the whole race? Please. Still do not I'm still bitter and I'm still annoyed about the fastest lap point being taken away. Again, Stefano Domenicali, what are you doing?
I liked having that point. I agree. It's a little dumb. But let's celebrate. Driver of the day was Fernando Alonso, our man that should be getting a pension soon. And I think he deserved it, to be honest. He drove well. He had overtakes, even though I hated that Isaac was, one of them. And he did his best. It was really good to watch.
I still hate interviewing all three drivers at the same time. I don't think it did anything. I feel like George and Max could have been in the cool down room while Lando was finishing his up.
Mm-hmm.
But they had to stand there and wait for Lando. It was just awkward.
It was awkward. I mean, you saw George squatting down or kneeling, whatever the heck you want to call it, during the, interviews with the other drivers. I feel like especially in a race that's in a heat advisory, you should do it one at a time. Even if you want to test out doing all three, your top three interviews at once, a race where there's a heat advisory is not the situation for that. Let them go sit down. Let them cool down. It just didn't feel like it was the right setting for it to happen in. But that's just my personal opinion. At the end of the race, the drivers' standings for the points for the top four drivers, because I feel like it is important that we do pay attention to that now, because Constructors is already clinched. It's literally all up to the Drivers' Championship now. So Oscar is sitting in the top with 336 points. Lando is in second with 314 points. Max is in third with 273 points. And George is in fourth with 237 points. Post-race, we did see Lewis Hamilton receive a 5-second penalty that was added to his elapsed race time for, quote, leaving the track without justifiable reasons multiple times. I have feelings. I don't like it. Why? I don't know. I don't know. I have so many questions about that. But we do need to briefly talk about the fact that after the race, Oscar more or less cut off Zach Brown's radio message when he was in Parc Ferme by disconnecting his wheel and therefore disconnecting his radio. Obviously, there are clips all over the internet. You can go find it. It shouldn't be that hard. If you're on TikTok, you can find it. Trust me, I've already seen multiple versions of it. But I also need to talk about how kind of weird it was that the team got everybody on the podium but Oscar, because Oscar was still in the media pen. I sense a very, 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 very tense debrief coming. Dare I say that I think Mark Webber's phone is going to be ringing a lot, because I think tensions are going to be at an all-time high now for the McLaren boys.
You're not wrong at all. Like, I mean, there's only 3 races left. I'm sorry, there's 5 races, 3 sprints left. And I just think now we're going to see like how Oscar handles that pressure. Like he's either going to be an amazing championship winner or end up being an amazing second driver for McLaren. Only time will tell right now because Oscar has to find balance. Like you can be an amazing driver, but like if your emotions get to you, you're gonna mess yourself up before the car does. Really. And like he has to get ready for the end of the season because now it really kind of is all gloves off or whatever. Like it's time to fight for like that position if he really wants it.
Here's the thing. One, I personally believe that Oscar can keep his emotions in check and keep himself in check a little bit better than Lando can. Lando gets in his head, and I've said this before, he gets in his head a lot when he does something wrong. It gets to him and it eats at him, and he makes more mistakes. I haven't really seen that with Oscar. Again, as an Aries, for me in situations like that where it's like, oh, this is what we're doing, okay, I'm more likely to do whatever it takes to get what I want than like you are out for revenge and you are out to win. I mean, they're all out to win, obviously, but like that I feel like is just going to drive it more. So for Austin, so excited. I'm not going this year, unfortunately, / not unfortunately, because it's going to be hot as hell because it's Texas. My prediction is chaos because duh. McLaren has officially again won the constructors. Congrats. It's again, yeah, gloves off for Oscar and Lando. They don't have to play nice anymore. Papaya rules do not exist anymore. At least they shouldn't. And we now have an Aries versus a Scorpio fight with a Libra lurking not far behind in Max. I feel like Max is just going to be back there like...
He'll wait for them to take care of each other.
It's like Charles
Literally.
last year in Austin where it was Max and Lando and Charles just like hung back, waited for them to go at it, and he just went whoop and then won the race. I feel like that's Max right now. I'm not gonna make any predictions for the sprint race. I feel like it's too short. I feel like I can't make the predictions for those.
Mm-hmm.
For the actual race, I think we'll get Max on the podium. He does well in Austin. Oh no, it's my favorite track. It's my home track. Anyway. And then I'm going to be delusional and say Charles and then George. Charles does well in Austin. So I really hope that we see him on the podium there. I actually would also love to see Lewis up there too. But those are my predictions. I don't know. I'm excited though.
I definitely agree with you on like the Lando and Oscar take. Especially like the pressure's on. Points are close. Max is closer than I thought he'd be at this point. With the way like how the season started. But I'm honestly sure he's gonna want to come back after this weekend. I cannot imagine the annoyance of losing Singapore again as well. So it's gonna be rough at times. But I'm always interested in the sprint race, even though it's not like that exciting for some people. I would love to actually see a rookie win. Like, give it to them. It's the sprint race. Don't give them the Grand Prix. Fine. Like, but sprint race, especially Isaac. I'm just gonna put that in there. Don't knocking on wood just in case. I think that'd be so much fun. But for the race itself, I'm going to be realistic instead of like hoping for the best because I would have put Carlos up here, but it's probably going to be. I see Lando in P1. I think he could do really well in Coda. I see Oscar pushing for P2, trying to get to Lando, and I see Max in P3 riding that out for the rest of the season, either on top, like getting before them or behind them. But I see him in the mix now, moving forward.
I, per usual, pulled up my pendulum and tried my best to see what I could come up with predictions for Coda. I, like Rachel, am definitely expecting chaos. I can't wait for it, but we're going to find out. My P1 is Oscar because, honestly, that man is going to be out for blood and on an absolute mission to prove to his team that they done messed up. My P2 is Max because, again, he's going to be on a mission and kind of out for blood. I think he'd love to tighten up the battle between the top three just a little bit more. My P3, I'm not sure if we're going to get it, but I'd love to see it, and that is Charles or Lewis. It's really going to be a question on, is Ferrari going to screw it up somehow?
Probably. And our moment of the weekend was, there were lots of moments, but McLaren winning the Constructors' Champion for the second year in a row. It was really great. I'm glad to see it. I was wondering if it would happen this soon, or if they would do something would happen and they wouldn't get it. But I'm really glad that they did. I think it's been well earned, and I'm glad we got to see that. Congratulations to McLaren and the team. They're doing an incredible job.
And that is a wrap from Singapore, besties. What a night. We all love a night race here. We've got drama, strategy, chaos, just the way we always like it. Next episode, we are swapping the paddock for the page and diving into Faster by Andy J. Christopher. Buckle up, y'all, because this one's gonna get spicy. And I mean spicy. Don't forget to follow us on socials everywhere. We are Paddock Girls Podcast. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Threads. If you like to see some video with your podcast, check us out on YouTube. You can see all our beautiful faces. We will see you on the next lap. Thank you so much for joining us in the paddock. Bye.
Bye.